You got to kick it off with a killer to grab attention. Then you got to take it up a notch.
The Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us.
Who are you? I'm Shiva, the god of death.
Cells. Interlinked.
It's like people only do things because they get paid. And that's just really sad.
Folks, welcome to Debaser, a film podcast. I'm Jared Rusk, and I'm joined again by my lovely co-host, Will.
Exposition dump.
Are you a character in this movie? On this show, we explore both new and familiar movies as we attempt to analyze and interpret them, all in an effort to debase the films and ourselves. Today, we're going to get right into it.
I noticed that I didn't have a quote because this movie's not quotable.
There's nothing to quote.
This movie's not quotable.
Unless, you know what? What does the submarine commander guy say?
I was thinking
that's
about
maybe the funniest line in the whole movie, and like even our theater erupted in laughter. I feel like
Godzilla's heading towards the polar ice caps. He's going to be supercharged.
Yeah, and it's clearly a perfunctory line, but it was so funny in the moment.
I could hear you actually cracking up.
Yeah, I cracked up really hard too when Ice Blastoise comes out.
Oh,
Shimo, yeah. And because I like when you just see the eyes, and I was like, oh, right, that thing's in here because I saw the toy. Because the toys always spoil these kinds of movies, like months in advance. What a shame. Okay, so if you haven't gathered, we're talking about Godzilla, Kong, The New Empire. Now, you may notice, Jared, you're leaving out the X.
Yeah,
in the
where's
title.
the X, dude?
You don't pronounce the X. The studio officially came out and said you don't pronounce the X.
Oh,
it's
my
like
God.
The director based it on like when clothing companies and what have you do collaborations, and it's like New Balance X Kobe or whatever. I don't know. That's not a real one, I know. But you just don't pronounce it. Hunter, if you're, a weeb.
I call it Hunter X Hunter.
No, you don't. See, in Japan, you don't pronounce
do that,
it.
But I do it because, I don't know, Machete X. Anyways, I thought the X was a little kiss, so I was assuming that Godzilla and Kong were going to kiss, but they don't.
No, they don't.
Spoiler
not
warning.
Once. Not once.
Not once. God damn it.
The film was released extremely recently, March 29th, 2024. This is perhaps the most recent movie we've done?
Yes.
Maybe, at least for theaters.
Yeah, yes, because you had just seen Dune 2 like not too long ago.
Right.
And I've been away, so we haven't been able to like discuss it.
Right.
So yes, this is the most recent
movie just came out very recently.
Because we also spent like a couple episodes, we did our top 5, so we really didn't discuss like new movies that were like just coming out.
Right.
And we did Pacific Rim.
The film is not streaming because it is in theaters right now. So if you're hearing this and you're not listening to it like months later, you can still check it out.
Right now.
You listen to the whole episode and decide if that's for you, though. So the film stars Rebecca Hall, Brian Tyree Henry, and Dan Stevens.
And not, hold on, they don't have the ASL
left
girl,
out
Gia?
I
think her name's
mute and deaf child.
Allison
actress.
Hoddle, I think is her name.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
I will drop in an edit if that is incorrect.
There you go.
The official synopsis of Godzilla Kong, The New Empire, is as follows. 2 ancient titans, Godzilla and Kong, clash in an epic battle as humans unravel their intertwined origins and connection to Skull Island's mysteries.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I also guess.
Not really, but okay.
Yeah.
Were they trying to like hold their cards close to the chest, even though like the toys definitely spoiled this movie a year
honestly,
ago?
The trailers too.
Yeah.
Because I was catching myself up by watching some of the trailers today, and they really don't hold back much except for like one character. But we all knew it was coming.
It's Shimo, right?
No.
Oh, Mothra.
You actually see Shimo in the later trailers.
Yeah.
It's spoiler. It's Mothra.
It's Mothra. Yeah. She back.
But you and I called that. We were both like, "Oh, that girl is like the Mothra twins."
Well, so it's funny. The first trailer that they dropped for it that had the girl in it, like the first extended trailer, people froze the frame and like zoomed into her eye and saw CGI Mothra in her eye iris, I guess. And so, like, I've known for months that Mothra was in it. And I was really excited because I was like, that was the inciting incident for me to be like, we need to go see this in 4DX because I want to smell Mothra, which I did not smell Mothra.
I didn't notice any smells.
No smells. I was pretty upset about that, actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For the listener, we saw this movie in 4DX.
Because how could you not?
It was very, because it's a bombastic movie, so we figured why not. But we'll get into it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost done with the preamble here. The film's screenplay is credited to Terry Rossio, Simon Barrett, and Jeremy Slater, and the film was directed by Adam Wingard. Adam also directed the previous film in the franchise, Godzilla vs. Kong.
Yes. You do say the versus part.
In that one, yes.
Yes.
And I was not aware of that. You actually had to point that out to me afterwards when we were eating.
I kept forgetting because I remember, I know most of the directors of these films. Mm-hmm. Gareth Evans, I believe.
They frequently take guys who have done smaller independent movies, especially horror movies and action movies.
All Gareth Evans, Michael Dougherty, and Adam Wingard all fit that bill.
Yeah.
I don't know the filmography of the guy who did Skull Island.
Jordan Voight Roberts.
Yes.
I don't know what other movies he's actually made. I know he's been attached to a live action Gundam movie for a long time, but I don't know if that's ever going to come to fruition.
It's not. There's no way.
Yeah. Well, I feel the same for the Metal Gear movie that he's been attached to forever, so we'll see. But he wasn't Death Stranding because of it. Adam Wingard is the director of many low to mid-budget horror films, as well as the Netflix live-action adaptation of Death Note.
Which is it's so crazy because I have such a love-hate relationship with this guy.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Godzilla vs. King Kong. It was whatever. I enjoyed this movie for what it is, right?
Right.
And he did one of my favorite indie horror movies, which is called You're Next.
I was getting there. Some of Wingard's notable horror movies include You're Next, The Guest, and the 2016 Blair Witch remake or reboot. And also he directed the overarching narrative in the first VHS film.
Oh, really?
About the guys that are sent there to rob the place.
Yeah, that ended up turning into a larger film that he did. Oh, I'm so sorry. He did the...
Oh, you're thinking of the other guy from 2, right?
That's no.
Oh, no?
I'm sorry. He did the overarching plot.
Yes.
Sorry, the first VHS that they watched, I think it's called The Siren. And the
about
guy
the girl that looks into the camera and goes, I like
you. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That short got turned into a longer film
by
a director. It wasn't Wingard. That's my bad.
Yeah.
But yeah. So it's cool. He's been attached to some really good stuff.
Yeah.
Jared, if I could convince you in October to do Your Next or at any time.
I've been meaning to watch that forever.
I love that movie.
I think because Red Letter really liked it years and years ago, and I put it on my to watch list one day. Even though I don't even watch Red Letter anymore, I totally gave up on those guys after Last Jedi.
Yeah, they were. They just wouldn't stop.
To give some Jared and Will lore, we used to be big Red Letter media fans, and then fell off hard after that because they just kept hammering it on that, and then also they're just kind of miserable.
Yeah, they are.
He also directed Q is for Quack on the ABCs of Death. I don't remember that one at all.
Did he really?
Yeah, which one is that?
I believe it's duck themed, but I can't remember So unfortunately, it seems that vignette was not nearly as memorable because I remember some killer ones G is for Gravity. That's a really good one. Z is for Zygote. That's in the second ABCs of Death. It's very good.
Yeah. I didn't see the sequels, I guess.
Oh, the sequel's really good. There's
what's VHS 2 is the epitome of the series.
VHS 2 is the best one.
Yeah.
Bar none, it's the best.
He did a segment of VHS 2 where the guy gets the eye implant and sees ghosts.
That's a pretty decent one, but
it does some neat camera tricks.
Yes,
but the story I didn't think was that fascinating.
No, it's not nearly as good as the guy who did the raid like that.
Right.
What an action packed oh my god, it was so good.
I remember. I think we had watched it independently.
Yes.
And then when we found out we had both seen it, we're like, did you see that one?
Yeah. And we were both blown away. You know what's sad is they brought him back for another VHS of VHS 1992 or something like that.
I don't remember.
Or 1995.
Yeah.
It was not good. It was a similar first person view.
Yeah.
But I don't think that he had the budget. He was going for he was going too far in a few places. It was not nearly as good as the second one.
Overarching narrative in that one a cult in a house and the police are raiding it?
No, the overarching that one is the person who's been, I guess the people are raiding a facility that this guy's been attaching machinery to people and testing stuff.
And wait, maybe this is what I'm thinking.
And he creates a kill bot and it starts hunting down all of the people. And so all of the footage is from a security guy's head camera.
Back to Godzilla Kong: The New Empire.
Oh yeah.
The film had a reported budget of $135 million. Oddly, this is the cheapest MonsterVerse film.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that odd?
That is really odd.
And to clarify for the listener, the MonsterVerse includes 2014's Godzilla,
which you love.
Right. I'm a huge defender of that film.
Yeah.
I think it is the most prestigious of all of these films. That's not really, I'm setting a low bar.
No,
but that movie it has a very serious and somber tone.
When you were describing it to Dan after we watched this film, you're right. They were doing something special with that film.
Right.
Even if I
think Gareth really had a great vision in mind and executed it very well. That movie was like, I think received a little lukewarm at the time, but like, I think people have only, it's been reappraised and people were like, you know what, that movie was better than we gave it credit for.
I guess I'm going to have to rewatch it with like hindsight in mind, because I remember being...
And feel free to fast forward anytime Aaron Taylor Johnson's on screen.
Well, Jared, you can say that about almost any human.
True.
In all four of these fucking films.
Yeah, absolutely.
5 of them, excuse me. I just remember like when the movie came out, I was not happy that Bryan Cranston was only in like 20 minutes of the film.
Right. They did a real bait and switch with the trailer.
Which was dishonest. And then... the other thing was I didn't like that he was fighting original monsters. I did not care for these original monsters. Mm-hmm. I'm a Godzilla fan. I want to see his rogues gallery, and that's why I love King of the Monsters so much.
Right.
But now that I know that another movie has come out and they have what I like in it, I can go back. I just hit the fucking thing.
It's okay.
Maybe I can go back and watch 2014 with that knowledge in mind, and maybe I'll like it more. I don't really know, but you're absolutely right. They were doing something that these other films don't do, and that is taking it serious and like trying to be avant-garde with it, which
and trying to make it a bit of a horror film, too, which some of the best Godzilla films do. And I remember sitting at the table, like describing my favorite scene to Dan, and like I was getting chills, like remembering it and being like, "Damn, this movie fucking rips, man!"
Yeah, there's some really good stuff in it.
It's maybe a nostalgia, and like rose tinted glasses sort of thing, where I'm like purely remembering my favorite scene of the movie.
Yeah,
and like that scene stands above so hard from the rest of the film. Like it was like there was a trailer that was almost that scene alone.
Oh yeah.
And for those who've seen it, it's the scene where the paratroopers are dropping into the city with like the red smoke grenades. It's incredible. There is a YouTube video up that you can find very easily of it, where you can just watch it if you don't want to sit through the whole movie.
It's very good.
I pull it up every once in a while just to remind myself how amazing that scene is. Anyway, the MonsterVerse franchise.
Oh, so sorry.
Starts with 2014's Godzilla, which is now 10 years old.
Yeah.
Feels insane.
That's kind of crazy.
And then followed by Kong Skull Island.
Yes.
Which really set the tone, I think, for the rest of the franchise.
Yeah, I can see that.
Or the series, because it's goofier and it does a lot of stunt casting.
This is true.
There were so many major actors. You got John C. Reilly. You have John Goodman. You have Samuel L. Jackson. You have
Tom Hiddleston.
You have Brie Larson.
Yeah.
I might even be forgetting people still.
Well, don't forget Shane Wiggin.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Did I say his name right?
Apologies to that man. He is amazing.
He's really good at it.
He's incredible in the most recent season of
Righteous Gemstones.
And he's also in the most recent Mission Impossible.
Yep.
He has a great bit part in that. And then Kong Skull Island was followed by Godzilla King of the Monsters, which we have talked about a lot because it's our favorite of the series.
Mm-hmm.
I think it peaked there as far as like being fun and
also
bombastic.
And also kind of dark.
It's a little dark. You're right. Because like honestly, the monsters are very intimidating.
Yeah. They're treated with like the respect that classic creatures are supposed to be, or I feel like they should have been treated,
Yeah. And like, there is like a wink and a nod, like the whole movie, that like Bradley Whitford knows, like you guys are just here to see these like CGI monsters like fucking tear it up.
Yeah.
But the movie isn't so gratuitous as I think any of the movies with Kong in them. I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah, you could say that.
To the point where it just feels kind of mindless, but also the scale felt much more important in King of the Monsters.
Because like it's like, Godzilla's a known threat. We know that he walks around and kind of commands things with authority, and then you've got this creature that's like twice his size, can fly, and is not of this earth, and you pit them together. It's really cool. Also, did you by any chance have you rewatched King of Monsters recently?
I haven't, and I really should. I need to bust out my 4K DVDs of this or Blu-rays of this.
It's like a religious parable because I
Totally. He is named Godzilla.
Yeah, well, yeah, so
he is risen.
Ghidorah's yes. No, I was gonna make the joke, dude. Ghidorah like is literally Satan. He's the fallen angel.
Yeah.
And Godzilla fucking dies, and Serizawa has to restart him, resurrect him in a tomb with a fucking nuke. Like, he is indeed risen.
Absolutely. Listen, some of the best movies are Jesus Parables.
That's true.
You have Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Yes.
You have RoboCop.
Yes.
I don't have another one.
Iron Man is actually considered one.
Iron Man?
The first one is, yeah.
I can kind of see it. I'm putting it together in my head.
Yeah.
But yeah. So King of the Monsters is followed up with Godzilla versus King Kong.
Yes.
Which I feel like everyone has seen.
Yeah, that one, well, because that one came out during the pandemic, so it went to streaming and movies at the exact same time.
Did we see it in theaters?
You and Courtney did.
We rented out a theater. That's right.
Yes, you and Courtney
We must have invited you. Did you not?
We had the baby. Yeah.
That's right.
He literally was born like 2 months before that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no way you were getting out of the house for that. Yeah.
Exactly. We didn't want to run the risk of like going out, getting COVID,
everything.
back to him, all that shit.
Yeah.
It was annoying. So we watched it from the safety of our home.
Right, right.
And man, what a ride that movie is.
Yeah.
That movie's crazy.
And
that's Adam Wingard.
Sitting in the theater, like thinking, like, we rented a theater for this movie, and I was like, it's really fun, but like, it is dumb.
Yeah, it's true.
And buddy, this one
ain't much different.
So the film had a budget of $135 million. It is weirdly the cheapest movie in the entire series so far, the MonsterVerse series, which is 10 years in too.
Yeah.
So like Godzilla 2014 was made like pre-pandemic, like inflation hadn't hit super hard.
Yeah.
It's just so weird to me.
It was still more expensive.
He did it so cheaply. Yeah. Now, as a press time, the film has earned $195 million at the box office.
That's right, dude. Unseated Dune.
Yeah, it's number one at the box office right now. It really surprised everybody, so it's really killing it. The film has not exactly been a hit with critics. It's currently sitting at a 54% critic score on Rotten Tomatoes. Although
it went down another percent.
Oh, it was
55 earlier today. Yeah,
and then the film, although it has a 92% audience score. Now, as a note, paradoxically, 2019's King of the Monsters has a 42% critic score and an 83% audience score. To me, that's fucked up. How is it worse in both categories than this film?
You know what's really crazy?
That makes me mad.
Is I know we're like big King of Monster dick writers, but
absolutely, yeah, and I'll fully own up to that.
It blows me away every single time that I find out that like, that is the worst rated of them all, and it makes no fucking sense.
I know.
Maybe it's because Millie Bobby Brown doesn't watch movies, and
I
so
forget that she's in it.
Yeah, because you don't like you turn your brain off whenever the humans are on the screen. Yeah. Like that's the case. That's what I do every time I watch it. Yeah, you know, I've been watching it a lot. My son is really obsessed with Godzilla right now, so we've watched a lot of Godzilla recently.
Yeah,
and like I don't know what it is. I can't stand the humans, but every single time I see Ghidorah in action, every time Rodan busts out of the volcano, every time Mothra makes her triumphant return to the big screen, like I get chills. When Ghidorah grows his head back after getting hit by the oxygen bomb, lands on the mountain and like just fucking flexes with power.
Yeah.
Oh, that scene is so fucking good.
I remember Ghidorah being terrifying.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's scary as fuck. And like I used to clown on that monster. I used to think he was the biggest, stupidest thing, because like the old Ghidorah, he's got a goofy head.
Right.
He's big and shiny. He looks stupid. I really fucking hate Ghidorah growing up, and watching that movie like immediately surged him to number one. He is the coolest monster.
Ghidorah number one monster.
Yeah, number one. I am Ghidorah Stan 64. That is me. Like he's just so cool and intimidating and scary. And I don't think that anything since that movie has lived up to his risen up to his scale as a threat.
Yeah, like none of the antagonists in the series has been as serious as him. Yeah, I agree. Because even I think before him, Muto was pretty intimidating. I know you don't got any affinity for the thing because it was an original design, but it was still kind of terrifying. And like I felt more threatened by it than I did by like Scar King. I mean, when we get into talking about like the creatures and stuff, I've got all sorts of things to say. So we're talking about the critic reviews.
Yes.
To bring us back in.
Yes.
In her review for The Atlantic, Shirley Lee, who I admire, and I want to add context that she did write in a positive review for the previous film, Godzilla vs. Kong.
Okay.
Wrote of The New Empire, These films may be empty, but they can be strangely stimulating. Godzilla Kong, The New Empire, however, is the MonsterVerse at its weakest. Its spectacle is even duller than its story, which is already nonsensical.
Interesting. She didn't even have fun with like the fun parts.
Yeah. That one was pretty brutal.
That's sad.
And in a rare positive review of the film, because I did have to struggle to find a positive review.
I don't doubt that, because I mean, like when you really think about it, like if you compare this to like actual film, not to say that there's a difference between movies and film, but when you like actually like look at the substance of this movie, it's like eating junk food.
No, there were a lot of reviews kind of making that comparison, saying like this is just mindless, dull fun.
Yeah.
There was reviews comparing it to like unfavorably to -1, saying like, what can more Godzilla movies be like that?
Oh no,
I know, and it's like
you can't do that,
because you and I are proponents of like we can have two different Godzilla.
We can. Now, I did go on that rant saying that I wish that the Legendary films were like -1. I have said that.
Right. They could borrow elements from it. They don't all need to be serious dramas.
Sure, yeah.
In that sense.
Yeah.
Like, and that's why I think we like King of the Monsters so much, because it feels like it's trying to bridge the gap a little bit more.
Yeah, it is trying to do both, yes.
And even the 2014 Godzilla, I think, is more akin to -1. The 2014
Godzilla movie is the closest you're going to get to an American version of -1.
Exactly, because there is that family element, although it just falls so flat. But that, I don't know if that's the script's fault
or if it's Taylor Johnson's fault.
I mean,
he's a good actor.
He's gotten better.
It could have been Gareth Evans' fault.
It could have been.
He got picked for that because of his monster movie, like the movie called Monsters,
and he wasn't like, that was the biggest budget he had worked with.
Yeah,
maybe ever. It's insane.
Yeah.
And maybe he just wasn't ready.
Yeah, I don't think he was ready.
There's a confluence of things that it could have been.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry.
But no, it's good. So in a rare positive review of the film, albeit with a low 2.5 out of 4 stars, film critic for the Washington Post, Amy Nicholson, of the Unspooled podcast. It's a good film podcast if you want to listen to that. Her review says, Wingard's not a sentimentalist, and Godzilla Kong stumbles whenever he tries to slap phony emotions onto the film to make it more like a generic crowd pleaser. He's a showman, a popcorn guy with excellent aesthetics.
Yeah? I mean, he did make Godzilla bisexual, and I do like the new coloration. So
and I saw in an interview he said that he did that because pink is his favorite color.
Oh, not because of like he's going ultraviolet?
I don't know. Is it a reference to like another Godzilla film? I think I saw that in the trivia.
Well, kind of.
Yeah.
But
I mean, there's only 56 other Godzilla films. Do you know them all?
Yeah. But it's supposed to be like a new level of radiation, because Godzilla spends the entire time of the film like powering up.
Yeah.
And the UV, I think, on the scale of radiation, that's like different colors and stuff, and UV is more powerful than the blue that he already was. So,
but it's not ultraviolet; it's pink. I thought ultraviolet wasn't a visible ray.
I'm going to be honest with you, buddy. I can't remember what the fucking scale was, but I remember somebody pointing it out to me and be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that makes total sense." I mean, I didn't hate the coloration to begin with. I thought it was cool. Mm-hmm. So, whatever.
Oh god.
Oh, you know that Adam Wingard fucking loves retrowave, by the way.
Oh, hardcore. I've got some pieces about that too. It's so blatant.
Good probability.
Yeah, as far as like
that he chose it to be pink because of the fucking
and
aesthetic.
In Amy's review, she mentions his aesthetics. You can tell he sat down in the pre-production of this film and was like, 80s retro wave.
Do it. Put it here.
Exactly. It's so blatant. And also it feels like it's not congruous with the other films. And so it's just kind of, it feels slapped on.
None of those movies have retro wave in them. None of them. Although like the weird needle drops definitely share a similarity to Godzilla versus King Kong.
I thought you were going to say Skull Island, because Skull Island has like a Vietnam aesthetic that it's going for. I think because it's a period piece.
Right. I think that, not to keep derailing us because I keep going off topic, but when King Kong is on the screen or being dealt with in the 3 movies that he's in, there are period pieces or needle drops or like popular music, right? And then when Godzilla is on the screen, it is usually accompanied by his score, but modernized. Same thing with all the other monsters from like classic monsters from King of Monsters. All of their themes were redone. So I don't know, maybe that's like a way, like a subtle way to tell the audience like what's going on or clue them into the narrative. I don't really know.
It's not just like references for like old heads to be like, hey.
I mean, maybe, because I remember the first time Mothra's song starts playing in King of Monsters, I was doing the Leo meme. I was fucking pointing at the screen and being like, ah.
And to wrap up our, Critics Corner,
Yes.
Over on Letterboxd, user Joe gave the film 3 stars, writing, "I hope they give Kong a gun in the next one."
I love your letterbox. Man. They're so good.
Struggled to find like a pithy review on Letterboxd because so many people were just like
dog shitting on it.
Yeah, or just overly praising it, saying,
"Oh,
like,
really?"
Yeah, but like not in like a clever way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Letterboxd is weird. This is a spoiler for our future episode. I was researching for Dune on Letterboxd.
Yeah,
had a wild ride.
Oh, did you?
A surprising number of people in the top reviews on Letterboxd for Dune Part 1 did not like it. And I was like, am I living in crazy world here?
The internet is such a weird place.
It really is. Yeah. Especially when it comes to people reviewing film.
Yeah.
Hey, welcome to our podcast. Okay. So I wrote down a brief collection of the plot.
Okay.
A summary.
Yeah.
Of the collection. And I hope you're fond of this because I had a little fun with it.
Oh, you had a little fun?
It is accurate.
You look
but
like
I
you're
had a
about to
little
start
fun.
cracking up over there.
I'm not going to laugh at my own jokes. Come on.
Okay.
That's crass.
All right, let's hear it. I did, for the record, I did love your Rebel Moon summary.
It's
Moon
not
summary.
quite that satiristic.
God, but it was so good.
But I had a little fun.
Okay,
so here is the summary of the plot.
Mm-hmm.
And be forewarned, there's not much of one. So this was
it's not
easy to make short.
Yeah.
Okay, so the film opens. Kong finds a previously unexplored section of Hollow Earth where a large group of other Kong-like beings are enslaved by an evil Lanky Kong. Kong is chased off by Lanky Kong's enslaved Ice Blast toys. I realized I made that joke earlier. And he reunites with other human characters, some from the prior movies, some not, to obtain an enhanced power glove. Meanwhile, Godzilla, aware that an ensuing battle is looming, is defeating various titans and absorbing power across Earth to become a more powerful pink Godzilla. Kong calls out to Godzilla for help, but the two fight before Mothra returns to intervene and telepathically explain to Godzilla the plot of the film. The trio then team up to fight Lanky Kong and Ice Blastoise, eventually freeing the latter and collectively defeating Lanky Kong in a fight reminiscent of a wrestling pay-per-view. That's the entire movie.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking good. I love that you called him Lanky Kong because like that's exactly what he is, dude.
Oh yeah, you can't unsee it. Yeah,
so good. You know what, Haley? Because my wife came and watched this film with us. My wife, Will is a wife guy. Anyways, and then
I think we're both established wife guys on this pod.
And then Dan was with us too. And
I'm kind of sad we didn't get Dan looped in for this episode since he saw it with us.
Okay.
Yeah,
Dan, if you're listening, we love you.
I'm sorry, man. We should have got you. We should have got you down for this.
But when Lanky Kong gets on top of Shimo, which you call Ice Blastoise, Haley calls...
I couldn't remember its name. I just went with Ice Blastoise because I was like, oh, it's funny.
Haley calls it the Light Fury because she turns to me and says, man, How to Train Your Dragon got really weird.
Oh, I see.
And because Shimo looks like the white Night Fury, which is called the Light Fury.
Okay.
And Godzilla is obviously black, so he is the Night Fury.
Right.
They're going to bone. Is what we're getting at.
Okay.
But yeah, because King Kong rides Godzilla, Lanky Kong rides the Light Fury, and it's just very weird.
When Lanky Kong is riding Ice Blastoise,
yes, I'm so concerned for his balls
and his feet. I kept looking for his feet, and you don't see them because you could tell they couldn't figure out
where they were
he's so spiky.
Yeah,
and I was like, this is so ridiculous. I can't stop thinking about like where is he stepping because there's this ice thorns or
everywhere. Spiky bits.
It's so stupid.
I really was concerned about his nuts. I was like, man, he's gonna sit down and fucking skewer his balls.
You never see Kong's nuts. What's going on?
There's like a tuft of hair.
Is he a eunuch?
I mean, do you see gorillas' nuts whenever you go to the zoo?
I've not.
Yeah,
looked.
You haven't. Exactly.
I guess I've not really seen a gorilla in person.
I've seen, the Busch Gardens has got a great gorilla
nut
enclosure, and you can't see them nuts, dude. You can't see them.
Wow.
They're hidden. Huh. You got to protect the berries.
So it's not like a horse or something where they're just like out there or like a dog even.
Yeah.
Where you're like, wow, that's really just hanging there, huh?
As far as I know, I've not seen the gorilla's nuts yet. And like the Scar King is kind of like a chimp. He's not really a gorilla.
Right. Because he's based on like a different. Yeah.
He's like a mix between a chimp and an orangutan because his arms are like hella long and he's orange. Yeah. He has got a funny face.
We've all played Donkey Kong 64.
He's got no style. He does have some grace though. He's a dex fighter.
Yeah, he's got the whip, the spine whip.
Yes. And then he does the pose.
Oh, that's right.
I love the pose, dude. You obviously can't see me doing it, but he has a specific. If you watch the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about, and you're gonna start cracking up.
Oh, okay. Alternate take for my Letterboxd
let's hear it.
Review was going to be one. I forget who the user was. Apologies to this person.
Sorry, buddy.
But it was "May thy knife chip and shatter."
I don't know. I blew it out.
It's okay. I can edit it.
Fuck you.
I can't believe that one killed you.
Because I watched Dune 1 last night.
Right.
That's all I can
it's more thematically appropriate, I guess. But
God damn it. Oh, it's so good. And then it does chip and shatter.
Exactly.
And Shimo becomes...
It's the fucking... It's like an M word.
The MacGuffin?
It's the MacGuffin of the whole movie. Thank you. Thank you. You're looking at me like I'm an idiot, and then you pull it, and I'm like, yeah, that's the word I need. Thank you.
I'm crying over here, dude.
Okay.
Sorry, continue.
I got some trivia, too.
Yeah, let's hear it, and then we can talk about stuff.
So in an interview, the director Adam Wingard stated, inspiration for the film were 80s toys commercials. Obviously.
Yeah, no way.
Adam said, whenever I was talking to the visual artists, what I told them was, I want the color palette of this film to resemble the experience of what it was like to walk down a toy aisle in the 1980s when you had Thundercats, G.I. Joe, and Transformers. There was just this orgasmic feeling, so many colors and textures. That's what I wanted to bring to this movie, this new heightened reality. I wanted to find out, can you take that over-the-top toy aisle experience, but then find a way to ground that into reality? Well, you did one of those things, buddy.
I mean, like, he kind of.
I don't think he grounded it into reality.
Oh, no. Well, I mean, you've got a giant lizard suplexing a fucking monkey, so like...
That was amazing.
That was one of the best parts of the fucking movie.
Also, okay, since we're fully in spoiler territory anyway.
What's up?
How amazing is it? Okay, so if you've seen the trailer, you know that they introduce like a baby Kong.
Yeah,
right?
Suko. That's his name is Suko.
And what's amazing is the film subverts that.
Oh, yeah.
Because when that scene happens and you see the baby Kong and he looks adorable, he starts immediately attacking Kong.
He fucking bites him, starts scratching his fucking face.
And then Kong uses him as a weapon to fight off other like giant apes. Incredible.
I did send it to you, right? When my kid doesn't get me a beer.
Yeah.
Fucking so
our theater erupted.
It's the funniest fucking thing. And then
by far,
our seats were moving to the to the
we'll get to that too.
Yeah.
I got a lot to say about that.
Okay.
Also, Dan Stevens' character Trapper was based on the G.I. Joe character Chuckles.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what? I think Wingard's trying to weasel his way into the Transformers and G.I. Joe like crossover.
I'm sure. Yeah. I mean,
he's working, dude. He's figuring it out, man. He's working his way over
there. Test screenings of this is going to blow your mind. Test screenings of The New Empire had an original character occupy the Mothra role in the film.
I know about it.
Oh, you do know about this?
I do know about this because there's been a lot of controversy as far as like MonsterVerse people,
right?
Or Godzilla.
They were
fans.
incensed about this.
Yeah.
The character was named Phosphora. Yeah. And it was a very similar like Phoenix type of design.
Yeah.
Phosphorus design could still be seen in the set design of the film.
Yes. She's one of the idols.
Right on the
the door
carvings and what have you.
Yes.
But the character was eventually replaced in the final cut of the film. Adam Wingard, refutes rumors that Mothra was added last minute due to poor test screenings by stating that the rights to Mothra had not been secured until late into production.
But they had her for King of the Monsters.
I don't know.
Explain that one to me.
I don't know. I don't know. Well, but he swears they always intended it to be Mothra.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that they did. Because
of course.
She deserves to come back. She always comes back.
Yeah.
She's constantly dying and coming back. That's what she does. I wish it was done with a little more grace. The way that they did it, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Because it was very ham-fisted how they got her to come back. I did not like that.
Yeah.
But I do like that she's back.
At least she's back.
And they gave her like something to do.
She was very important. You're right. She had a very
she was cool, man. She like
she had a big role.
She's the great uniter. That's Godzilla's bae. That's his ride or die. And even like they gave her something to do, like an important thing, protecting the portal from rogue apes. Protecting the humans.
Well, it didn't work.
Well,
they got through the portal.
The two important ones got through the portal.
Oh, okay.
But not a whole army of fucking monkeys.
All his like bodyguards.
Yeah. Can you? I mean, like, I'm sure that Godzilla would have dispatched all of them fairly easy. But consider it, the fight would have been much more difficult, I guess.
Yeah. Godzilla has a total of 8 minutes of screen time in the New Empire.
So it's a cameo.
Yeah. This is the least of any MonsterVerse film.
Yeah. Well, so what's funny is I think that was like the right choice.
Really?
And here's the reason why, right? So
there's a big debate on Twitter that this movie is Kong focused.
Are you done?
I have one more thing that's really stupid.
Go ahead and do the stupid thing, and then
so Kong's infected tooth plotline is based on a real experience that Adam Wingard had with a major toothache while filming Your Next.
Oh,
yeah, he just wrote it into the film.
Based, anyways. So I think that it was the right choice, right? So if you're gonna do one of these movies where there's the two monsters in it, right, and it's the first one where they're trying to like work together and stuff, and there's supposed to be like a threat and both of them need something to do. I think the safer decision is to actually make it Kong, because Kong can still kind of communicate.
But Will, they already did this. This is the second movie where they're working together.
Well, they barely work together in Godzilla versus King Kong.
But they
fight against each other. Yeah, but
because even it's established with Kong that like Godzilla's cool. Like I should work with that guy.
No, Kong is cool with Godzilla. Godzilla is not cool with King Kong.
I understand, and they fully established that in this film.
Yeah,
but they're not new to each other.
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that if you're gonna have the audience follow a character,
right?
You need to be able to have that character communicate some way, right? King Kong can sign, well,
and that's
he's more expressive.
The director has said like he likes Kong more, and it's easier for him to be more sympathetic to the audience.
Yeah,
but I don't care.
Okay, yeah, I don't like King Kong. You know this. Yeah, I'm a big Godzilla person.
Both of us are like Godzilla stans.
Yeah. I don't really care for Kong, but I did think that this, if you're gonna do it right, and this is the first time you are doing it in a sense that the creatures like have to work together, and
it's
all
not,
this shit.
But okay,
yeah, whatever, dude. Shut up. It's easier to do it as King Kong. I know that Wingard has said that if the movie is successful and they do another one, it's going to be Godzilla.
He wants to do a third one. Yeah.
Yes, which I'm here for.
Might as well.
Shut up, dude. Do you know what they could pull from? Hold on. Do you know what they could pull from?
Well,
Space Godzilla.
I don't want him.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Like,
well, don't let Adam do it. You know what I mean?
It'll be crazy.
Give either what was it, Matthew something that did
Michael
King
Dougherty.
Monsters? Michael Dougherty.
Yeah.
Either give it back to him again.
If they're gonna
pick another guy to take a shot, you know?
Sure. Who would you?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't I would have to research it to find like an up and coming guy that would be cheap and has got something to prove.
Okay.
You know,
sure.
I think the formula that the producers have is good, where they're just like picking these guys, although they've picked Adam twice now. But this formula
Godzilla
is very...
King Kong was successful. So, I mean, and I'm not trying to defend it because...
Well, they've all been successful. They've all done well.
Even King of Monsters? I thought King of Monsters was, did not do well.
If it bombed, they would not have done Godzilla Kong.
Okay.
I don't know the box office off the top of my head.
Sure.
But I think it made its budget.
Okay.
Because these movies do very well overseas, too.
That's
the thing. They have great international appeal. Especially because they do so many scenes in other countries anyway.
Different countries, yeah.
And because this movie, it doesn't feel ham-fisted in these movies because where are they going to fight? Just in America every time? Fuck that. No. It makes total sense that they're now they're in Rome, now they're in China, whatever. Put them anywhere.
Yeah.
They're fucking titans.
Yeah.
It's sick as fuck.
They go where they please. Yeah.
It's also why Pacific Rim makes perfect sense for that movie to be diverse and set all across the world,
yeah.
It's fucking perfect for that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Make it a diverse film that appeals to, has mass appeal across, the world. But what was I saying?
You were
keep picking up and coming directors that have something to prove that are, hungry and looking to be given big budgets, but aren't necessarily looking to make a new IP or an original script.
Yeah.
They're being given, existing properties and have plenty of things to pull from. So they're not completely lost in the sauce. They get to actually like, okay, here's like a skeleton of a thing.
Right.
The studio is probably handing them a script, sliding it across the table and just be like, what's your take on this? And like, that's probably what's happening here.
Sure.
And they're just there to make sure it doesn't fall apart.
I guess what I think is Adam Wingard is now a known quantity. We know what we'll get, and like it'll be fun. So I mean, it would be really cool to actually go back to Doherty if it was just Godzilla centric. Don't even have King Kong in there. Have him fucking off doing whatever he wants to do in the Hollow Earth, right?
Yeah.
Do Space Godzilla, another like world-ending threat, and have Godzilla not just go around doing power-ups, but like really struggling to the point where towards the end he's like, I need help. And then Mothra gets Kong. Kong brings a bunch of people up there. And
Kong brings all the other apes even. Yeah. And you've got like an army of like Kongs.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be fucking rad?
Yeah. Yeah. You're selling me on this.
Yeah. But
I don't know if I want Adam to do it.
You don't want Adam to do it. That's fine.
I feel like Adam
I guess it's okay.
has completely lost the scale. The sense of threat.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay. I guess we can now talk about the villains,
and
right?
I'm constantly forgetting about how big they are.
Yeah.
Like this movie was so weird in that aspect. Like they don't feel colossal.
So, what's funny is I did watch an interview. He talked about that. He's like, it's very difficult to show scale, when you're dealing with these creatures, other than like filming them from below.
That's the magic of being a film director. Is you can bridge that gap.
I guess he had a hard time doing it because like you're supposed to know how big King Kong is. Yeah. But like when King Kong is standing there staring at another monkey who's like slightly shorter than him,
how do you sell the scale of like, oh, this monkey's half his size, but it's still the size of like the Chrysler building?
Yeah. Which they do in the final fight when he shows up to Earth and like looks at all the people on the beach.
Right. But and I guess like ants. Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. It's difficult. That's a difficult thing. What I was going to say is, if we're talking about like the villains, I thought you were talking about like scale, as in the level of threat. And
well, that too, because I at no point was like scared of Scar King.
No, how could you?
Like, what's the worst he's gonna do? Like, destroy Hollow Earth or enslave the rest of that? No, that's it. Literally, he's already enslaved everybody. But Kong
he wants to come. He wants to come up to the surface, and Godzilla's got to stop him. But Godzilla's like literally doing all that he can to become ultra powerful. He just needs a little bit of help.
Yeah.
But like those two defeated a mechanical version of himself that has longer arms and shit.
Exactly. I feel like the Mecha Godzilla in the previous film was more of a threat. Hell, Ghidorah was a bigger threat than all these guys.
Ghidorah has always been the biggest threat. None of the other ones even come up to him.
Fucking rules, because like not only does it feel like it, like that movie fucking sells the shit out of that.
Godzilla fucking dies.
we were discussing before we recorded that like that movie is terrifying. Like Ghidorah is so scary.
Yeah, they spent a lot of time making him look like a legitimate scary monster, and it rules. I love that movie.
Yeah.
But what I was gonna say is, I think that he, in Adam's mind, right? He's like, okay, yeah, this monkey is kind of fucking stupid, but what if we get a lizard that's bigger than Godzilla that caused the Ice Age for humanity, and we put that thing under this guy's control. Now it's two big monsters instead of one mechanical monster fighting against the both of them. But like at a certain point, when you really look at the final conflict, Kong's got a power up and he's feeling good because he's got like pain suppressants going through his body. Godzilla's got his power ups. He's feeling great.
He's super nucleared out.
He's never been more powerful like on screen ever. And like what, a third of the way into the fight, the ice monster no longer is mind controlled.
Right. They destroy the crystal or whatever that Lanky Kong is using to force him to fight everybody. And then so they all team up and kill Lanky Kong almost
instantly. Like the moment that he doesn't have the monster weapon, he's not even a threat.
Well, Kong was able to take him one-on-one.
Yes, yeah,
but only got repelled when they brought out Ice Blastoise.
Yes,
Shimo.
Yeah. But that's the thing is like, it's just the villain is so incredibly weak. Like even because I knew the ice monster was in the movie. Haley turned to me when Scar King is introduced as the final boss, and I said, "That's not the final boss."
Yeah.
And sure as shit, I was right. Like,
Yeah.
like I didn't expect them to keep the ice monster alive, which I was very happy that they did.
Yeah.
Because I like it. I like its design. It's very cool. You know, Ice Godzilla, cool, whatever, right? I assumed that after Lanky Kong died, the ice monster was going to be up against the both of them, and they were going to have to like do some other crazy shit to kill it.
Yeah.
But no, they're like, hey, let's cop out, make her chill.
Yeah.
And she's like, did you feel like they gave the monster like doe eyes for Godzilla at the end of that fight? Like he's breathing fire into the air and like releasing all that radiation, and she's just like looking at it in awe.
I felt it was admiration. I think
is that what it is?
Was my impression. Yeah, because they're buds now. Like they're instantly like the second they break that crystal, and Lanky Kong's power over Shimo's gone.
I guess recognizes his authority as
she's just like
predator.
I don't want to fight these guys anymore. I want to kill this bitch who's been torturing me for years.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
And all of a sudden they're just like, with zero acknowledgement, not even a glance, they're all just like, we're cool now. Let's kill this guy.
Yeah. That was funny.
The way he switched on a dime, it was so
I was like,
funny.
oh, I'm good. Oh, there's the guy.
Yeah, like fuck him, kill him. And then, okay, so Adam Wingard also in an interview was talking about how they wanted to have Scar King get ripped to shreds. And like literal like viscera and
that would have
gore.
been so cool.
But because it had to be PG-13, they were limited. So instead, the workaround they found was to freeze him,
and
then Kong could blast him like he does. Yeah.
So we talked a lot about like the characters, or at least the monsters, you know, and some of the action and stuff.
Don't.
You don't want to talk? No,
I don't want to talk about the humans. Is that where you're going?
I was just gonna say like it was literally nothing but exposition jumps. So I've seen this movie.
And it's so. Like even people in our theater were laughing at how like expository it was.
Yeah. So I saw the movie a second time, as I told you.
You're right. You saw it in the drive-in.
I saw it in the drive-in because you know both me and Haley thought Ezra will love this.
Yeah,
you know, and
Ezra's how old? 3?
Yeah, he's almost 3.5.
Yeah.
But we found ourselves looking at our phones and just like waiting for the monsters to come back on the screen, and like without
that is unfortunately all of the MonsterVerse films.
It is really unfortunate, but like even like if you take away, because we saw the movie in 4DX and it was very fun. And you're going to talk about that.
Let's circle back on that when we're done. Yeah,
but like without all of the hullabaloo and all the movements and all the extra goofery, you can really like sit there and be like, holy fucking shit, the human stuff is so goddamn boring.
Yeah,
like literally
it's brutal.
Do anything else, just get out of the theater and go take a piss anytime that people are on this. The only saving grace is Trapper and Brian Tyree.
I was gonna say I think Dan Stevens is trying his best to be entertaining.
Yes,
and he didn't repel me, but like there was nothing interesting about his character once you realize he's just doing like
badass vet stuff,
like Kurt Russell meets
he's Steve
Jeff
Irwin.
Bridges. Yeah, you know, kind of like I'm like a deeper dude. You know, I'm not a toxic guy.
Yeah,
but yeah, he's doing a lot with what he can. I think Dan Stevens is an incredibly talented actor. I love him whenever he shows up. I know Adam Wingard is actually a big fan of his.
That's his buddy,
right? Because they've been in a lot of movies. Like they've worked on movies together before. I really became aware of him because of Legion, which like I could not follow that show to its end. It really kind of like started spinning its wheels for a while, but like that show is really fascinating, and he is doing a lot in it. Yeah, I mean, oh my god, he is doing so much in that show.
Good for him.
That show is great. I feel like it loses the plot eventually.
I gotcha.
But by the way, that is an X-Men show.
Oh, is it?
You don't realize that for a long time.
Oh, but it's actually X-Men.
Legion is Professor Xavier's child.
Oh wow!
And they do not really talk about it.
That's crazy.
And I don't think it really comes up until much later into the show. I didn't finish it again, so I might be talking out of my ass a little bit here, but it is an X-Men spinoff.
Crazy.
Yeah, I know. I had to explain that to people, but I'm like, but here's the thing. It's an X-Men spinoff. And I'm like, they don't even make that clear in the first season.
That's funny.
They don't even talk about mutants or anything for like a really long time. Right. It's crazy. Well, yeah, it's been I'll go back and finish that show one day. I liked what I saw of it. It just really started spinning its wheels, like I said. But anyway, Dan Stevens, great actor. Brian Tyree Henry, another great actor.
Yeah, he's a great actor.
I mean, but he's doing what he can. Like, he does get a lot of good laugh lines in this film.
I mean, he was the most entertaining thing about Godzilla versus King Kong. I think that's the reason why they brought him back.
And he's the only guy that comes. Well, okay, no, that's not true. So on the way home from this film, our friend Dan watched this movie with us, and he has not seen any other film in the series.
Yeah, that's my fault.
It's his first one. Well, I mean,
no, it is my fault. I've been
we were debating who else to bring. Yeah. And I pitched him because I was like, wouldn't it be crazy if he saw this with us? Because A, he's never seen a 40X film.
Yes.
And B, he's never seen one of the MonsterVerse films.
Ones, yeah.
And he was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll go. And so I was like, oh, this is going to be nuts.
Yeah.
But he asked me on the car ride home, were any of the human characters like returning from the previous film? And I was like, outside of Brian Tyree Henry, I don't think so. And then I sat there and Googled it.
The short-haired lady in the
Rebecca Hall. And her daughter, I forgot the child's name.
Hodel is her last name.
They are in the last movie, and I didn't remember that at all. I thought the last one was Millie Bobby Brown, and she's in the one before it. But that's how forgettable the humans
Kaylee
are.
Hodel, I'm sorry.
Kaylee Hodel. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
What is the name, her character's name? Gia, that's right. And she's connected to Kong because she's the last of the tribe that lived on Skull Island.
Yes.
Yeah. But very ham-fisted. None of that really matters.
Not really, no.
But yeah, Dan Stevens, Brian Tyree Henry doing the best they can. Rebecca Hall is... I kept thinking throughout this whole movie, is she Cortana? Did she voice Cortana?
No, she's not Cortana.
It's not her.
No.
But I swear to God, so many times she would talk, and I was like...
Cortana?
That is fucking Cortana, dude. And so I kept thinking, like, how funny would it be if she's like... tells, like, Kong or Godzilla, like, hey... Don't make a girl a promise you can't keep. That's for all the real Halo heads out there.
Fuck you.
Okay, let's discuss the 40X experience.
We so after seeing Aquaman and 40X, I asked Jared, I said, dude, what is coming out next year that me and you can go see in 40X? And this is the first fucking movie that I thought of.
Yeah.
And god damn, this movie was crazy. Shit went hard. What, did you not like it? Okay. I loved it. What? Well, go ahead.
You saw me gearing up there, taking a deep breath.
Yeah.
So have defended 40X before. I've seen it for two other films, The Matrix and Avatar 2: Way of the Water.
Correct.
Amazing experiences.
Sure.
But I have seen reviews of 40X saying that it is both distracting and like abusive. Like people complained that like it's beating them up and they felt like completely assaulted and jostled.
Yeah.
And I never felt that way.
That's how I felt during Aquaman.
Until this movie.
Oh, I bet.
You did tell me that Aquaman was like more intense than this, than Godzilla Kong.
More intense as far as
and
like
that scares me.
Beating the shit out of your back, but not nearly as intense as shaking the fucking seats.
This movie, every time anything happened, Godzilla takes a step, Kong takes a step.
Kong runs across the field.
Right. The seats just start throwing you up and down.
Yeah.
My pants kept falling down.
Dude, me and Haley were big consumers and we got, big.
Oh, you got the ginormous Godzilla Kong popcorn bucket.
And the big ass cup.
And the cup too.
With the King Kong topper because they didn't have Godzilla.
Right.
And at one point in time, the seats fucking just jostled.
Yeah.
And King Kong fucking flew, dude. He went straight to the ground.
Oh no.
Yeah, it was rough, but like I had a good time.
I had to keep like pulling my pants up, and like I like halfway through the movie, I had curled myself up into a ball so that I wouldn't like get thrown around as much, and I could keep like both my pants up and like me from like falling forward.
Yeah,
like it was like I was getting annoyed about it. I was like, okay, every time a character runs, I don't need to be, fucking ejected up and down in the seat.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
But it was so intense and distracting. Then I felt like in Avatar and even The Matrix, whenever they would do the hydraulics, it felt like it wasn't. It was trying to lure you in a bit more. It was trying to make it part of the experience.
I got you.
You were more immersed.
Sure. Yeah.
And in this, it was like, big monkey running, and you're just fucking rocking.
And but it rocks to the beat of him running. I don't know.
I know, but it was so intense that like I couldn't hang on. It was incredible.
Okay, well, I guess because I got my cherry popped with Aquaman.
With Aquaman, yeah.
Aquaman popped my cherry. like I came to expect that, and I had a great time. I thought that shit was hilarious.
I did leave. Also, we ate a ton of fried food afterwards.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So like as we're leaving and like we're walking through the parking garage and getting in the car and like on fucking I-4 on the way home, which is like one of the worst interstates in the country. I'm not trying to like, you know, like brag, but like look it up. Like it is one of the worst roads in the world to be on, and it's why like I hesitate to go to this theater, the closest theater we have for 40X, because
it's an hour and 40 minutes away.
It's technically 45 minutes away.
Oh yeah, I know, but it's an hour. But
it's really an hour and 45 minutes away. But I was like, I remember sitting in the car, and thank God I wasn't driving. Like Dan agreed to drive me.
Yeah.
And I was just like telling him like, I feel horrible. Like I feel like I just got thrown around a bunch. And like I have like a stomach ache and my eyes hurt and I just want to take a nap. And we saw it like it was the first showing of the day.
Yeah,
it was kind of early, you know.
I did not feel that way. I was running off adrenaline after that. I had a great time. I mean, at one point Haley was like, "You're laughing too loud. You have to chill out."
Oh, see, that was me in Avatar.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
And I talked about how I giggled constantly.
Yeah.
And like there were a couple of times where like I was enjoying like, oh, okay, so oh god, we just said her name, the kid in the film. Gia has like a weird like out of body experience in her classroom early on to the film.
Oh yes, yeah.
And then bubbles start pouring down from the ceiling.
Yeah.
And it was the only time they did it. I think they only did it once in Avatar too. But I was like, oh. The smoke machine wasn't working very well, so like when the fog came out, it was like so loud and there was barely any fog there.
Yeah.
I will say the Twisters ad before the movie.
That shit was crazy.
Had a really cool like 40X kind of deal happening. And I think even your wife was like, that would be a great 40X movie. And I think she's right.
Yeah, Haley already talked to her sister about it and they're going to go see it.
Oh, so that's
going to be cool.
I'm excited to hear about that. What were the other trailers? We missed some of them because we were a few minutes late.
I'm going to be honest with you, man.
I can't
remember shit.
There was, we caught Twisters.
Oh, they did have Deadpool.
Furiosa.
They showed Deadpool as well.
Oh, there was a Deadpool one. I totally missed that. But I saw the Furiosa trailer finally.
That's right, yeah.
That movie looks incredible.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
That movie's gonna rock my world.
Yeah.
I just know it. I mean, I would never doubt George Miller. I would never, ever doubt the man. Okay. Have you seen Babe 2, Pig in the City?
I have. When I was like really, 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 really young.
Buddy, watch it again.
Okay.
Because your son will love it and you will love it.
Okay. All right.
I don't know. Maybe I was just a little too young, but it's appropriate.
It is appropriate. That's true.
It's an amazing movie.
Yeah.
You might be sitting there fighting back tears while he's like, why pig sad? Why pig make dad cry?
Why pig fly?
When I was editing that episode, I was like, this is adorable. I love this episode.
It's good.
George Miller, man, can't go wrong. We're going to cover Furiosa on this show.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
We've not done a Mad Max, but
no,
like, we'll figure it out.
No, I'm definitely seeing it.
You saw Fury Road in the theater?
No, I didn't. So
that's right. I was there when you saw it for the first time because you had just moved into the house you were renting at the time. Yeah. Yep. I remember that.
It was a good time. I really enjoyed it.
God, we've been friends too long.
I watched it recently, like last year, because I remember Haley being like, I don't like Mad Max movies. I was like, Haley, watch this movie. It's so fucking feminist and like really good.
Yeah.
And yeah, she came around on it.
Has she seen any others?
No. Oh,
really?
So Thunderdome?
Beyond Thunderdome.
Beyond Thunderdome. Yeah. That one was played when she got for her first tattoo. Oh. I watched the entire thing, but I don't think that she did.
Yeah.
So
but he's just a raggedy man.
Yeah, dude, it's been a while.
Tina Turner fucking rules in that movie.
Yeah,
man.
She does.
God, I've been a Beyond Thunderdome defender.
Mm-hmm.
I think that movie fucking rules. I'm not going to sit here and argue it's better than Road Warrior.
Yeah, I haven't seen Road Warrior.
But people talk about Beyond Thunderdome like it's a low point in the series. And I will say, fuck that. I love that movie.
I really don't know that much about Mad Max.
Damn, we're gonna have to do it. We're gonna have to do it, man.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Because like those movies, the way they evolve is insane.
Yeah.
And then to have that comeback with Fury Road.
Oh, man. Fury Road's fantastic. That's such a good movie.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a few diehards that like maybe were like Fury Road has to rule.
Why Mad Max not say word? Why Mad Max when
it's not his movie.
Furiosa?
Exactly. It's Furiosa's movie, baby. Because he wanted to do Furiosa first.
Oh.
And then have the plot of Fury Road be the follow-up.
I gotcha.
And so that's what I think is going to be so fascinating about Furiosa is like, it's a prequel. So I'm so excited to see
we'll see what's
going
on with it.
I am sad that he had to recast Furiosa, but I do think...
Oh, well, Charlize Theron cannot... You can put that woman in a lot of like prosthetics to make her look completely different, but I don't think you could make her...
That's the thing. I don't know if she was supposed to be a lot younger or if that was just like the studio was like, can we get you to cast like a more up and coming actress or something, you know?
Sure.
But I have faith in Anya Taylor-Joy. I think she's going to kill it. Yeah. The trailer like completely makes me like not question it at all. I think she's going to kill it.
Yeah.
I am just disappointed that Charlize Theron isn't.
No, I got you. I love Charlize Theron. She's fantastic.
I'm also so excited to see Chris.
Oh, Chris Hemsworth. Yeah, dude,
he looks like he's really having fun.
Yeah, he looks like he's having a bad guy.
Has
Absolutely.
he ever been an antagonist before?
I can't think of. No.
Oh my god.
I mean, kind of in that 2016 Ghostbusters movie. Because he gets co-opted by...
he gets like taken over by a spirit or something? Okay. Because like, isn't he like their hot, dumb assistant or something at first?
He's great. He's like the best part of that movie too, unfortunately. Yeah.
To quote Red Letter again.
Is there anything else you want to say about this movie?
No, the 4DX experience was like...
I'm sorry you didn't have
a bit much.
I'm sorry.
Maybe I wasn't in the right frame of mind, but I also wonder if the guy that programmed it was like didn't have the delicate touch of the guy or person.
Sure,
I shouldn't say guy. I'm so sorry for gendering that. The person, I'm assuming it's a guy.
No,
that's wrong of me.
I understand. But
I feel like the person that programmed the 4DX like seat positioning and everything
for
like the Matrix and Avatar was maybe more prestigious, you know, and like knew what they were doing. But then for Godzilla Kong, they just were like, yeah, pick fucking whoever. The guy that like throws everybody around all the time. Pick that guy because this is a big dumb movie.
Yeah. I feel you. I had a good time. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I gotta say, I think it's my least favorite of the MonsterVerse films.
That is so hard for me because like I have to go rewatch 2014 because 2014 has just always been a bad spot.
Yeah.
For me. Oh hey.
I can rank them right now.
You rank them, and then I've actually got a fun little like one last topic of discussion because I think that it's pretty easy to say that me and you really like kaiju, like films. You know, Pacific Rim is one of our shared favorites, and I just have like a little bit of discourse about Pacific Rim and the MonsterVerse again.
Yeah.
You know, but I want you to rank your movies. Go.
Okay, and you think about your ranking as I'm doing it, though.
Okay, yeah.
So of the MonsterVerse series, beginning with Godzilla 2014, for me, from best to worst, it's Godzilla King of the Monsters,
yes,
Godzilla, and then Skull Island, and then Godzilla versus Kong, and then Godzilla Kong.
You're really hard on Wingard. I'm actually concerned about what your opinion is going to be on your next because I really like your next. It's a clever horror movie.
I'm ready to like it.
Yeah,
because I've had it sold to me from like multiple people that like it's great.
I gotcha.
I'm not going into it expecting a kaiju movie.
Sure. So. Yeah.
I'm not. I'm going into it with completely different expectations.
Gotcha. So it's King of Monsters for me, obviously, without a doubt. GVK, purely because those are all classic creatures. I like all of them. And then it would be Skull Island. I actually really like Skull Island quite a bit. And then I guess GXK and then 2014. But I'm willing to bet that 2014 is going to jump up when I rewatch it.
I would be very pleased if it did.
Yeah.
But understanding if it doesn't, because it doesn't like, it just doesn't hit the spot for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And the humans parts of it are bad.
But they are in every single one of these movies. Yeah. It is an unfortunate fact of the matter. The American people, studios that do Godzilla don't understand. Like, I really do hope that Godzilla -1 is a come to Jesus moment for the American studios.
Yeah.
So they can like reevaluate, what the fuck they're doing.
Right.
Because they just don't care. They're like, oh, it's big dumb monster stuff. But at the end of the day, like, you can do more with them, man. You can. Like, I understand that maybe if you're making Godzilla a antagonist and a true force of nature, then the human element has to be significantly punched up,
right?
Because you're no longer relating with this giant, lizard monster. You have to relate with the people who have to deal with him,
right?
And having Godzilla being like a anti-hero in these films, he's at least likable and he's at least doing the right thing.
Yeah.
But everything else suffers because of it. So I don't know. There has to be a balance between having Godzilla being a likable, good creature, a creature of good, and also having a human element that supports that without being just expositioned. Because like, fuck, man, I understand what the fuck is going on. You don't have to tell me stuff. Like, okay, perfect example. And I've seen people talking about this. There's a part in this movie where short-haired lady
Rebecca Hall is like, they're in ruins, and she's like, oh, this is what happened. You know, Godzilla fought a bunch of monkeys, and they all went to the Hollow Earth, and they've been imprisoned here forever. And they're being led by the Scar King, and he's got a fucking ice monster. Don't fucking tell me that. Dude, put that on the fucking screen. I want to watch. Don't tell.
I want to watch Godzilla fucking obliterate.
Yeah, like
a bunch of Kongs.
Somehow have the child character realize this telepathically as she does.
Yes,
and then we are shown like a flashback of Godzilla, like hundreds of years ago or
just
thousands of years ago,
beating the dog shit out of these people.
Yeah, and like even just like flashes of it. Even maybe not a full comprehensive scene. But that way we're just like, whoa. And then like enough that like we can put it together and not have to have just, expository dialogue.
She talks for 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, every time this movie cuts to a human character,
you're about to get spoon-fed some fucking information.
Yes. And like after the halfway point, it only gets more and more perfunctory. And it's so embarrassing. It's like, oh boy. Like at least on one hand, they give up the pretense that like they need to have any kind of
yeah, they're like, okay, well, we all know that the human element of these movies is the worst part, so let's just like get this shit out of the way so we can do Godzilla suplexing King Kong.
But and it makes it funnier when they cut to them. They just explain a plot point for you really fast, and then they cut back to the monsters again, and it's like, oh boy, I could feel the audience like kind of rolling their eyes and laughing about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
But anyways. So something that I realized Sunday, because I was talking about some other people had seen Godzilla X King Kong, and they were, we were having discourse about Pacific Rim, right? And one guy was like, "Well, the second movie just doesn't exist." It was a soulless cash grab. And I was like, I don't feel that way because in a lot of ways, the second movie builds upon the first. It's just there's some hindrance there, and the hindrance is they took a chance on a bunch of young actors, and they are the weakest part of the movie, and they're the forefront of the movie. But I did some math, and Pacific Rim came out in 2013, and its sequel came out in 2018. So there's like 5 years in between the two.
Yeah.
2014 Godzilla obviously came out in 2014. King of Monsters came out in 2019. Is King of Monsters a cash grab? Why is there another 4, MonsterVerse movies and only 2 Pacific Rim films? And it's purely because that second movie just was not magical in the same way that the first one was.
Yeah.
And also it doesn't have that name brand, man. Like who knows what a Pacific Rim is versus who knows what a Godzilla is.
I will say this in favor of the other person's, statement.
Yeah, statement. Yeah.
I think from the beginning, the legendary like Godzilla films, the MonsterVerse, were meant to lead to Godzilla versus Kong. Like I think that was like overtly stated.
I gotcha.
Back early on.
Sure.
And that Skull Island was announced around the time as 2014 Godzilla, and I feel like it was going to be like, listen, they are eventually going to meet.
Right? Yeah.
I feel like Skull it was Island set up as like the MCU of like kaiju at its time.
Right.
And with Pacific Rim, that was a kind of a one-off deal that like Guillermo del Toro had with a studio where if his like Lovecraft movie fell apart, he could make like a kaiju Evangelion kind of movie.
Sure.
And I do see that sequel as kind of a cash grab in a sense, like in the most, unnuanced look, because the first movie did really well overseas.
Yeah.
Made its money back and then some, was a huge like international hit. And so the studios were like, let's fucking fire up a second one. Guillermo del Toro, for whatever reason, wasn't involved. I feel like he was obligated to another movie.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Right. But he stayed on as producer, but like that could mean anything. That could mean he had absolutely zero involvement. That could mean he was in one meeting and was like, please don't fuck up my movie, But and they brought in, I don't even know. I haven't like prepped for that. I haven't seen that movie, and I haven't prepped for it.
We're gonna do that eventually, though.
Yeah, but it wasn't like they brought in like a guy that knew what he was doing. It sounds like they brought in like it sounds like a fanboy director kind of, like it feels like an Adam Wingard, if you will.
it was definitely within the same wheelhouse. Sure.
Yeah. Like someone that was cheaper, but like
yeah. I don't know. It's so crazy because like Pacific Rim is just a better movie and franchise. Like it's as much as I love King of the Monsters.
It had more artistic intent too. I think is a big reason.
Yeah.
Although I will say Gareth Evans is Godzilla. I hope to God it's Gareth Evans and not Edwards.
No,
we haven't been getting it wrong.
Gareth Edwards is the guy who did The Creator.
Oh, that's
Edwards.
That's this guy, Godzilla. Then
no, it's not.
Yeah. The creator is Godzilla. Guy.
I thought the creator was the guy who did Rogue One.
Yeah, that's Godzilla.
No,
the other one is the Raid guy.
Oh my God! Did we do it? We did it. I think
I've been doing it this whole episode.
Jared, I hope that you edit out every single time we say his name wrong, and you
make like a sound effect. I'm gonna make a sound effect.
You should.
It goes ding, like a little counter for every time we got his name wrong.
Shit. Whatever. I don't.
It's Edwards.
Oh fuck!
I've been saying Evans all day.
I did the same thing. Fuck. That's my bad. I'm sorry.
Oh my God, we're only an hour and 20 into it. Yeah.
Oh. Well, yeah, but anyways,
yeah.
I don't know. It just feels so weird, man. Like it just feels so fucking weird. And you know what's funny is I remember someone saying like they want to do a Pacific Rim crossover. They want to have the Jaegers in with Godzilla and King Kong, right?
Why not?
Well, so here's the fun one, right? You're like, yeah, maybe it'll ruin the untarnished appeal of Pacific Rim. There's no fucking way.
No, I don't see Pacific Rim as having like more artistic integrity than Godzilla, because like it's so clearly inspired.
Yeah.
That I'm like, no. That would make sense.
Yeah.
It jives.
But it's funny because King Kong gets the gauntlet, right? And if you look at the schematic, it's a whole ass arm, and it looks exactly like a fucking Jaeger arm.
It's the Gypsy Danger arm.
Oh, is it really?
I've seen. There was like a Reddit thread that was like, had back-to-back pictures, and it was like, guys, this is clearly supposed to be Gypsy Danger's arm.
Oh,
it doesn't have like any like logo or paraphernalia.
It's just schematics. I didn't realize it was the.
Yeah, because they drew the whole arm for the schematic, and it does look like exactly like.
Okay, that's
arm.
cool.
Yeah.
The second thing I was going to say is, when Godzilla wakes up from Rome to go suck up the energy.
Yes,
there's a little mural of him like a fat Godzilla eating pizza. It's super cute.
Yes,
and there's a couple of references on there. There's a skull turtle from the first Mothra film. There's like a couple other different references. I think that one of them is a reference to Gamera. I'm not too sure.
Yeah.
But one of them is Knifehead. It's Knifehead from fucking Pacific Rim, which is like, I think everybody who works on these movies has a love for the film,
right?
And like,
right.
I'm hoping, man. It's been over a decade now. I'm hoping that we can like do something.
Yeah,
do something with the franchise that honors the first film.
Yeah, but I don't think Uprising. I think Uprising made its money back.
Yeah, it did.
It was just kind of critically like panned.
Well, I think a big part of it isn't just that the child actors are not that great, but also the director made a conscious decision to have every single Jaeger fight in the daylight, which will make your CGI look bad.
It's expensive.
Yes.
Yeah, because you have to get it right.
Right. And if you look at Pacific Rim, there's 2 scenes where a Jaeger is out in the sunlight.
Yeah.
And that is when Gypsy Danger lands in Alaska or whatever.
Yeah.
And when Striker Eureka is being shown on TV defending Sydney. And that's it.
And it's kind of obscured a little bit.
Exactly.
I think, too, right?
So you can hide your fuck ups.
Yeah.
You can hide it in the dark too. And it's just like, man, what if things were just a slightly different? But I don't know. It is what it is.
It's a dream project. Maybe it'll happen one day, and we'll be so enthralled. We'll be there day one in the 40X seat.
Yeah, dude, and get thrashed
maybe with
again.
a seatbelt on for me.
Yeah.
Well, folks, that's been our show. Thank you for listening to Debaser. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to us on your podcast app and follow us on social media by searching for @DebaserPod. We also have a YouTube channel.
It's true.
I have not been mentioning it lately because I was ashamed.
Because you spent, like, we were missing a lot of episodes.
Well, I was so behind on it that we only had like half of our episodes up on it. But I did spend some time about a week or two ago catching up, and now all but one episode is up there. That episode may never get put up there because it'll probably get content ID'd to hell. I won't get into the details. Sometimes I have to edit episodes on YouTube to cut out like trailers and things because they get copyright struck. It's very annoying. Yeah. But if you prefer YouTube to listen to us, hey, more power to you. I'm going to keep uploading them there. So just shoot me like an email or something to let me know, and I'll be happy to hear it and know that my work isn't going, unseen. But yeah, check us out on YouTube. We're Debaser Pod on there. If you literally just search Debaser Podcast on YouTube, you will find us almost instantly. You will see the artwork and you'll know that's us. So please give us a subscribe on there too, and it really helps us out. If we get over 1,000 subscribers on there, we can start earning money like ad revenue on YouTube. So I would love to do that.
That'd be great.
My wonderful co-host, as always, is Will Taylor. Will, where can people find you? And do you have anything to plug?
So I don't really have anything to plug, except I would like to do a shout out because I would like for our listeners to maybe go and see this film. Monkey Man comes out on Friday.
Oh, right. The Dev Patel movie.
Dev Patel movie. Yeah. And well, it'll be this coming Friday, but this episode comes out next week.
Right.
But go see that film. I've heard great things about it. I unfortunately will not be able to see it Friday, but if I do get some spare time, I am going to go off and see it by myself probably.
Yeah.
And it's his directorial debut. I love him as an actor. He's a fantastic actor.
Yeah.
Really, everybody should go and give this one a shot. I think it'll be great.
Yeah. There's so much buzz around it. Like, I would be so shocked if it's bad. I think, isn't Jordan Peele like producing
He's an executive producer.
Because I think it was going to get stuck on streaming, and Jordan Peele was like, absolutely not. Yeah. Let me pick it up with my like Monkey Paw Productions and put it in theaters. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. I think I read about this on like
I'm very happy for Dev.
It looks amazing. Like, I'm very excited. In reference to Monkey Man, Dev Patel was saying, like, a lot of people were making comparisons to John Wick, and I saw Dev Patel was quick to defend that and say, like, no, like, this film is inspired by, like, a lot of, like, international action cinema, like, not just John Wick. Like, John Wick is just what a lot of people go to, but, like, and he was recommending, like, go see some Korean action films. He's like, I think that's where I got most of my inspiration from.
Yeah. And The Raid, I know that like The Raid was...
Oh, yeah. We love to talk about The Raid and The Raid 2 on this podcast. Yeah. If you haven't heard us say that, what have you been doing? But I saw some recommendations floating around out there if you want to expand,
I understand.
Your movie watching. Absolutely check out Old Boy. I mean...
Yes.
Oh my God, that goes without saying. That's probably one of the most venerated South Korean movies of all time. Mm-hmm. There's also, I'm just looking at a Polygon article here that I saw the other day. It recommends Ballerina, this film, The Killer, not the very recent David Fincher movie, but a Korean movie called The Killer that came out in 2022. The Villainess, as well as The Man from Nowhere.
I've heard of that one, and Ballerina.
I've seen a couple of these. But they're available to watch on a lot of different platforms too, because South Korean films are actually surprisingly easy to find on streaming. Because I watched a lot of them on Netflix back in the day, and then I even like, you know how Netflix has like really hyper specific genres sometimes.
Yeah,
mine was always like violent revenge thrillers from South Korea, and like I'm like I do love that genre. I will watch everything you've got. They are so good. Yeah. There's also I Saw the Devil. Crazy movie.
I've heard about that.
Oh my God. Yeah. I'm surprised we haven't done one of these. I will do Old Boy one day, but two things are stopping me. Number one, like, it's a hard movie to recommend for a certain reason, for a couple of reasons.
Yeah.
Number two, I'm a father now.
Yeah, so
and if you've seen the film, you're probably cringing right now.
It's pretty
so
rough.
Like that movie, watching it now, has a totally different
a connotation. Yeah. I feel you.
Feels very weird.
Sorry, I didn't mean to like bring up the discussion again, but like I really wanted to like voice some praise for this film. I think it's going to be
for
great.
Monkey Man. Yeah.
For Monkey Man, yes.
I think it's going to be a huge hit, though.
Okay, good.
I think it's going to be great.
I hope.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to. I'm going to try to see that, and then I'm going to try to see Civil War 2.
What is the premiere date for Monkey Man?
It's April 6th.
April 6th.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're listening to this, April 6th, it's probably already out by the time you're hearing this, though, because that is just a few days away from now.
Go see it.
And then maybe we'll talk about Civil War one day.
I'm going to see it while it's still in theaters. Just
I do like Alex Garland.
Yeah, same. That's the whole reason why I want to see it. And
but
also,
I'm so apprehensive.
Like,
about
what's
that movie.
his name? Is in it? Fucking the guy who was the wolf in Puss in Boots. He's Spider. Spider's the main guy.
Oh, really? He's one of the journalists?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know what he looks like, I guess.
Yeah. Sorry, I can't keep doing that.
We're so bad about this. Okay.
Those are just the movies I'm really excited about. Sorry. Finish the fucking movie.
Well,
or the pod.
All right, that's a wrap. Everybody, good night. Good luck. Thank you for listening. Goodbye. Debaser is hosted and produced by Will Taylor and Jared Rusk. Want to email the show? Send it to podcast@debaserpod.com. Want to help us out? Please leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice, especially Apple Podcasts. If you write a 5-star review of Debaser on Apple Podcasts, I may read your review in a future episode. Thanks for listening, and take care out there.